The Beavs. Oregon State. We're talking about Oregon State. Gosh, I really like this team.
I'll be honest, I'm gonna be rooting for them. I mean, I love Minnesota, right? But right below them, I'm gonna be rooting for Oregon State. Just because of everything that shook out. I think how awesome would that be if Oregon State and Jonathan Smith come out and they fucking win the Pac-12? I mean, now are they gonna? I don't know. They're definitely a team that could. I think they were damn good last year, and they're damn good this year too. Yeah, I'm just rooting so hard for them, and Jonathan Smith there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be rooting hard because I'm taking the over. The over. And you know what? And I wasn't going to until all this Pac-12 BS started happening, and I'm like, gosh, does this team want it that much more this year? I mean, DJU finally won the job, but guess what? If he goes down, Ben Goldbranson's coming in, and he's winning 8 games, 10 or 9 games, 10 games, 11 games. His offensive line is almost entirely back. It's going to be good. It's going to be a very good offensive line. They're big, they're physical, they're mean, they're nasty, right? That's what we like. Luke Musgrave is kind of a big loss, but they didn't really actually use him all that much. He was a great blocker. That's what I'll say about him. But I think they're fine there, right? They use a lot of times use more than one tight end, and I think they're deep enough there to where they can get around it. I'll say the downside of this team. Well, one, you're probably going to take a step back on the defensive side of the ball. They were a phenomenal defensive team last year, and I don't think it's going to be the same level of talent as it was last year. But at wide receiver, you're really small. What is it? I mean, I think their first 3 guys, their starting 3, I think are all going to be under 6 foot. I think Jemai East cracks the starting lineup. Maybe if he doesn't week 1, then I think he will get more time because I think he is just bigger. But Anthony Gould's good. Josiah Irish. I mean, they're a little smaller. But guess what? They're fine, dude, and they're gonna run the ball this year. Oh, they're gonna run the ball. And anyone who follows the show knows how I feel about Damian Martinez. He's a dude. He is a dude. So I'm so excited for him this year. Defensively, it was absolutely electric last year. The D-line returns nearly everyone, which you love to hear. And their run defense was also very good last year. It was very, very good. But the D-line, everyone returns. And what I like about it, too, it's like it's more deep than it is top-heavy, right? Like you got a lot of guys in there that can really plug up holes, know their jobs. You could rotate a lot of fresh guys in there.
Well, and they got different body types, too, especially on the outside. Your outside linebackers, they're stepped up on line of scrimmage. You got guys that can stop the run. You got Oluwasi Omatoshu, I think. He's a guy that can come in on 3rd down and rush the passer really, really well.
Yeah. And look, their out of conference is manageable. It's tough, but it's manageable.
Wow, I wouldn't call it tough.
Okay,
I mean, it's at San Jose State and relative San Diego State.
Okay, relative to yeah, maybe tough wasn't the right word, but relative to what some of these other out of conferences are, I'd say that it's not. Yeah, it's no slouch. Let's not sleep on San Diego State, right? Let's not sleep on San Jose State, right? We just saw what they did yesterday, so.
That's true.
But I did take this over. And also when you draw Cal, Colorado, and Stanford in conference, that's 3 wins right there. And then all I'm asking, give me 3 more. Give me just 3 more. So I think there's a lot of good teams, but you get a lot of these teams at home. Utah at home, UCLA at home, Washington at home.
Yeah.
I think they're out for blood. I do think that this is tough though, because I think linebacker, they lost to Omar Speights, who was actually a difference maker. We're saying linebacker is really replaceable, but like Omar Speights was a legit difference maker, and he'd been there for a long time, and he was experienced. I don't know, but I still think the secondary is pretty talented. I think Katana Oladapo is going to be pretty good at safety. Bummer that Skylar Thomas tore his ACL. But look, Trent Bray in his first year as DC last year, he was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's run it back. Give me the Beavs. Give me the over. 8.5. Will I regret it? Maybe, but let's go.
Yeah, like I said, I do lean I'm not gonna take it like you are. I wish I could ride with you, and I love riding Oregon State. Maybe it'll be a team week to week where I go, this is a team that's just beating the spread every time. Vegas hasn't adjusted yet. But I think the 8.5 is pretty high. And for Oregon State, you love that, right? And it's because they're out of conference, but they do get the top 4 teams in the Pac-12. And so you got to, in order to go 9-3, you got to steal one from the top of them. I'm looking at Utah. I'm looking at UCLA week 7, right before the bye week. Obviously, Oregon is always going to be a tough game with the Civil War there. The problem is you also could slip up at Washington State week 4, right? In the look-ahead game to Utah. I know we both like Jake Dickert. I like Washington State so much, though, that I might be throwing some money on that, where my mouth is for sure. And the only thing that concerns me about this offense, love the O-line, love Damian Martinez. And I even love the DJU. I think he fits Oregon State really well in terms of like a mentality type person, like a guy that's, been super talented, but he's also kind of been thrown under the bus for 2 years now. The small wide receivers, I don't know how accurate TJU is and has been. And with the small wide receivers, you got the small catch frame. I don't know. I think that's something to definitely look at, even though there's going to be a lot of separation for him probably, but I don't know. Yeah. Other than that, defensively, they're going to take a step back a little bit, but I still trust, the whole roster there. Like you said, they got an interesting guy, Calvin Hart from Illinois, who I like as well. But yeah, I like Oregon State. I love them, rooting for them, but I'm not tempted to take the over with them.
Look, yeah, I get it. DJU might not be like a dun, 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 dun. He might not be like an NFL guy, right? But he's good enough. He's good enough. And in a quarterback heavy league, give me a team that wants to play some defense.
Well, and I think he's ready. I think he's going to be willing to use his legs, which he can do. He's a big bodied. I mean, the read option with him and Damon Martinez, like on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, like you're going to pick that up, right? With the good offensive line and everyone else there. But yeah,